Serena, nobody wants to watch you upholster furniture. It's gross. It's old. It's from the thrift store. Nobody cares. Do you care? But that's why they're here. They're here watching this video because they want to see me upholster furniture. I mean, if you want to waste these people's time teaching them how to do this, don't listen to her. I don't know. You're here because you want to see my projects, right? So I'm going to show you things to do, right? We're not going to listen to her. I'm going to show you 10 projects, 10 before and afters, and we're not going to listen to what she says. Let's start the show. So this is one of my favorite projects because this was the first project that I'd done after doing upholstery classes. And I feel like it was what I learned in those courses that allowed me to turn these chairs into these. They weren't perfect, but they were pretty darn good. And I think this might have been the first project that I'd ever done when I was doing tufting. I'd never tufted. I'd never sewed together that many pieces of fabric. And here's one thing that I realized when I was doing this project. Two things. You have to label your pieces of fabric, because if you don't, this is where you get into the mistake of sewing things together that don't quite belong together, putting the wrong piece on the wrong side of the chair. Believe me, it happens. I just did it myself recently. The other thing I realized when I was watching this is that I'm cutting this new piece of fabric way too small. Yes, I'm using the old fabric as a template, as a pattern, but I need to add probably an additional inch. So keep that in mind when you're doing your own upholstery projects. Another thing I realized as I was going through all of these, putting this video together, I've never done a sewing tutorial for you. So all these projects that I'm showing you, or that I have been showing you over the years, I've completely skipped that part. And I didn't even realize it until I'm watching all of these upholstery makeovers. A lot of them do require sewing. So let me ask you, and you can tell me down below in the comments, would you like me to do some sewing tutorials on my channel? Or maybe there was a chair that you wanted to reupholster, but when you realized, oh, I'm going to need a sewing machine for that, then you decided, I'm not even going to do it. Now, there are a lot of projects that don't require as much sewing as these purple dining room chairs, but they still have piping. They still have things that need a sewing machine. And so if this is something you want, let's do sewing week, guys. Let's do sewing week, and I'll show you how to thread your machine, some basics, so that if you want to do projects like these, you can get a sewing machine and jump right into it. So let me know down in the comments if this is something you want to do, because I'm excited about sewing week. Are you excited? All right, let's move on to the next chair. Now this is one that you had seen recently because I did a home office makeover for my friend. These chairs, I didn't like that they charged $75 each for them, but when we were walking through Community Forklift, she loved it. There were two of them. And if you've been watching, the other one I started reupholstering live from a hardware show, which, oh my gosh. I don't know if you had seen that video, but while I was reupholstering the second chair, why did I reupholster the bottom seat with the wrong fabric? The fabric that was meant for the back was actually, like, I put on the wrong fabric. And so that's why I say it's so important to label your fabric. And it is important to, use the right fabric. Here I mentioned, well, I don't know if I told you in the last part, but that purple fabric that I just showed you, that was Krypton velvet. This is Krypton velvet, and I love it because it's waterproof. It's a good quality velvet. And in the last video, somebody actually said, oh, well, the reason why it's waterproof is because it has plastic and it has to off gas. Well, come to find out, that's actually not true. I did my research, and it is ultra low or no VOCs. There's no forever chemicals that they treat this fabric with. And they've actually been certified as low chemical emissions. So I'm happy with how these chairs turned out. And it looks fantastic in my friend's home office. I can say that I'm not happy with that wrinkle that you see there on the side. But aside from that, I was very happy with how this chair turned out. And it looked fabulous in her home office. So go check out that video. All right, let's move on to the next project. This is a headboard I found at the thrift store for $10. And unfortunately, I painted it. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I painted this because the wood was actually in perfect condition. But I was going through this phase years ago where everything deserved a coat of paint. And I don't believe that now. Plus it had caning. I mean, it was in great condition. And surprisingly, there were 3 of them. And people were like, why didn't you buy all 3? Anyway, it turned out really great. I ended up selling this for maybe $100. And so yeah, lesson learned, don't paint everything. Now this chair is one that actually has a very significant story behind it. This was the chair that was in the room my grandmother was in when she passed away at the nursing home. And the day before she passed, I said to my mom, can I take this chair? I think it belongs to the nursing home, but if they'll let me have it, I want to take it and I want to make it over. And my mom said, that chair is ugly. I don't know why you see beauty in that chair. It's ugly. Well, you know how we do here at Thrift Diving. With some paint, some new fabric, we can make anything that's ugly beautiful. And so when I gave it to her and surprised her with it, it was very emotional for her because it was the chair she had been sitting in every week, or every day actually, for the weeks that my grandmother was there at the nursing home. And for her to see this chair be transformed, it kind of gave her hope, and it took a piece of that experience with her because she's always going to carry it with her. Now this next chair threw me for a loop. How the hell is this thing strapped on here? There's got to be a way that this thing is stuck in there. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? All of that and the stupid thing just lifts up. Oh, that is hilarious. Well done, Serena. Well done. Oh yeah, we could totally reupholster this. It's so funny watching me make over this $10 chair from the thrift store. It had a great shape to it, and it may not appear to you that the fabric was really that bad, but the fabric was bad. Here's the thing, as I was watching this video, I realized if I were to do this project again, oh yeah, side note, this looks like a car seat. If I were to do this project again, I would not have painted this gray. I think I was in that frame of mind where everything had to look modern, everything had to, not even modern, but everything had to be painted light and white and gray. At the time it was great, but then, you know, down the road, or I should say present day, I probably would have gone with a completely different fabric choice. Anyway, I pulled the old fabric off, did some new fabric that was very modern. But a friend of mine at the time, he said, well, you know, great job. But if you were to give me that chair, he said, I would have done a faux black leather. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, faux leather? No, like this fabric is much better with gray paint. No. While I like it, I don't think the gray paint worked very well because I didn't prime it, and technically you don't have to prime, but the chair was rubbing up against like parts like the wall and things like that. And so you'll see in just a moment that the paint did start to become scratched. So it looked good the way it was. It could have been improved. I think it looked great when it was done, but because I didn't use a top coat, it kind of changed the whole vibe of the chair. I think today I would have done a different look. You can see there the paint is kind of chipping off. So you might actually see this project coming on my channel again. Maybe I will do that black faux leather. This next chair was a $60 thrifted find. It was very heavy, it was good quality, but there's no video that exists because this was like the second project I'd ever done with reupholstery. I didn't even have the right tools. So when I needed to like pull off all those tacks, those old decorative tacks, there was 276 of them, and I had to use a butter knife because I didn't even have a tack puller. But I kept as much of the chair as original on the inside, and then I cut new fabric, and I did paint it, but I kind of liked the little decorative painting that I did on the front of the chair there, and somebody liked it. They actually purchased it when I had a little booth that I was selling things. So would I do this again? I probably would. I do love paint on this chair. And oh my goodness, this is the chair that was from hell, I think. I think it was literally sent from hell to just torment me for about, half a year, 6 months, because that's how long it took me to reupholster this. I found it from the thrift store. This was also $60. And if you have been on my channel, you may have noticed that I did a 10-part series on how I reupholstered this entire chair. I did probably about 12 upholstery courses. But what's funny is when I got to the course, the man said, well, hey, I don't think you need to rip everything out. I think if you just go over the old fabric, that'll be enough. You don't have to do the springs, the webbing, and all of that. And I said to him, no, like we have to do this. Now, him being the professional, he knew that this was a huge task that I was telling him that I wanted to do. And so he's like, okay, let's go ahead and pull everything off. And so we did. And that's why it took forever, because I had to do this, the webbing, the springs. I had to do new jute, like you saw there on the seat of the chair. I had to figure out, and he taught me how to tie everything, how to tie the springs, how to use your hand sewing in order to create the seat shape. I mean, there were so many steps, and I recorded it all in that 10-part series. Do I remember how to do this? No. And that's why I'm glad that I recorded it, because when I go back, when I decide at some point when I want more hell and torture, when I go back and try to do another upholstery project like this of such magnitude, I'll have that to use as a template. But one of the main things I learned from breaking this chair down to the bare bones and building it back up to this beautiful, beautiful chair, which by the way is not Krypton velvet, it's a regular velvet, which is absolutely divine. But what I learned is that this is a skill, it's an art. Being able to take fabric and bend it around curves and have it look fantastic, it takes practice. And it's actually a lot of fun. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. And I really did enjoy that project, even though it was hell. Okay, let's move on to the next project. You know, I'm noticing a theme here because I actually really love velvet. And I never even made that comment before. I never realized how many of my projects ended up in velvet. This is another velvet. This is another purple velvet project. You don't know who you are until you put all your likes together and then you're like, wait a minute, I know who I am. I'm someone who loves velvet. All right, so the upholstery part was very simple compared to that wingback chair. It did have piping, it did have a seat, and it had a back. So there was a little bit of sewing involved. Again, if you want to know how to sew, let me know because we will cover some of these things. That didn't take any time at all. I mean, it was pretty simple, and I reused the pancake type foam. Here's a tip about foam. If it's crumbly, I wouldn't reuse it. If you pull off the old fabric and it still has some bounce to it and you could put new fabric over top of it, just reuse the old foam because foam is very expensive. And if the foam is already kind of contoured to fit that chair, then just reuse it. I did not paint this. I started getting out of paint everything and just added a little bit of, Java gel stain, and it looked fantastic. And I will give you this other tip. If you are just getting started with upholstery, do a small project like this. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it will teach you some of the skills that you'll need for the bigger projects, the things like the wingback chairs and, the office chairs that require a lot of sewing and a lot of manipulation of fabrics. This is a pretty simple project that I think anybody could do with a little bit of sewing skill and maybe a weekend. This $6 mid-century modern chair from the thrift store, it wasn't one of my favorites. I'm showing it to you because I want to point something out to you. When you are doing projects, sometimes whether it's a chair, whether it's a dresser, you might have a really nice veneer. This had a very beautiful walnut veneer on the back of the chair. You see that beautiful wood grain? But the body of the chair was a different kind of wood. So trying to refinish this in the same manner, it wasn't going to work. I wanted to do a tung oil on the walnut veneer and just really bring that grain, or not that grain, but just that beauty of the wood alive. I wanted it to look beautiful, but I couldn't do the same on the chair. So you'll notice I actually painted the chair black. Once I stripped it down, I realized the body was not going to really accept stain and be attractive. So that's how I refinished the chair. For the seat, I took the plastic cover off and I found this fabric that I thought was kind of cool. It had that same diamond shape. I reused the cushion in there because it was in good condition and just stapled that with a T50. Very simple upholstery project. And again, not that it was one of my favorite projects, but I liked what it taught me. I liked that it helped me to appreciate the beauty of that walnut veneer and to come up with a solution for when you just need to cover up really ugly wood. All right, let's move on to this bench. I got this for $25 from an estate sale and it looked amazing when I was done. And this was a pretty straightforward upholstery project. You'll see here that I'm ripping off and tearing down the old bench, but there wasn't anything to sew. And so I think if you are, again, somebody who is brand new, you've never sewn, you've never done any upholstery projects, but you're interested, look for projects that can easily be broken down with some tools, maybe painted, and then the fabric pieces don't have to be sewn. You'll see here, this is a large piece of fabric that I just placed over the bench, cut it to size, and then used a regular hand stapler to adhere it in place.
You will find on some projects that you'll have something fancy like cording or piping to kind of cover that raw edge, but not on this project. Here I just used some bias tape and some hot glue. That's it. Now, of course, I did cover the arms as well, but that wasn't hard to do. And I did use the same stapler, and I also used the hot glue and the trim to go around it to cover up those seams. So you can do some upholstery projects without having to sew piping, cording, or anything like that, sewing pieces together. But overall, I think this bench turned out really nice. Okay, and here's a tip that I wanted to share with you. So this sofa here is what my sofa used to look like. We don't have this sofa anymore. We owned it for 18 years, but look at the cushions. Over the years, 3 kids, they were just sad, depressed, compressed. I mean, every est you can think of, that's what they were. But here's the tip. If you go to a craft store and get some batting, some stuffing, you can actually plump up your sofa just by adding additional stuffing to the cushions. Clean it, shampoo it, add the extra batting, the stuffing, and your sofa is going to look like a completely new sofa. We got about 5 more years of life out of this sofa after I did that. Oh, and guess what I just realized? It's velvet. It's green velvet. Who knew I loved velvet?
You think you're cute, don't you? Oh, I know I'm cute. I'll see you next video.